Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another video, The One Good Road here. So today we're going to be having a look at a product that allows you to measure the power that's actually coming out of your batteries. I don't know if you've been in the same situation as I have, but basically I've got many 12-volt batteries and a lot of them don't have the capability where you can measure the power coming out of them because these are older batteries. These are like 2 years old or 1 year old. They work just fine. They actually have a very long shelf life. However, they don't have an ability within them. They're not like smart batteries. They're just standard batteries. And they don't have that ability to measure the power that's coming out and what's coming into them. So this here is a new product from LiTime. This is a Bluetooth 500 amp shunt. So this is really cool. Basically, this allows you to measure the power that's coming in and out of your batteries without needing to use a display. You can actually use your phone to look at it. So we're going to open it up. We're going to hook it up to my system. I'm going to hook it up to a different battery. These are just here for demonstrational purposes. But this type of little shunt, which is very small, you can actually hook it up to these types of batteries as well. So anyway, let's open this up and I'm going to put it to my larger system where I can actually measure more accurately the power that's coming in and out of my solar system. Over here, we've got a system of 800 watts. It's 200 watts each for each panel. They're secondhand and they're working quite well actually, but the heat is quite strong today. So the reduction of power might be happening today, but we'll see. And then this system is hooked up to the battery I have inside. So we can go in and have a look. So I just wanted to show you, first off, this is the Hall sensor that I have. This is the screen I have. I've been using this cheap Hall sensor for quite a while. And frankly, they're quite inaccurate. They give you a rough idea of how much power is coming in and out of the system. But for larger battery systems like mine, 230 amp hour, it's just becoming quite a nuisance to have. Sometimes the display doesn't quite accurately measure and display how much power is coming in and out. This is the battery, 12 volt, 230 amp hour battery, and it's hooked up to an inverter below. That's basically how I'm running my AC unit and all sorts of other devices. Over here, we've got the Hall sensor, so you have to have it the right direction, and then it goes through on the positive line, and it detects how much power. It's like an amp clamp meter, pretty much. Okay, so let's open up this little box here. It's absolutely tiny, really small box. Now, this manual is in German, but they obviously, if you order it in the United States or the UK, you'll get it in English. So you can have a look at what's in there. Tells you the spec of the unit. It's got what comes with it. So you basically scan these and then you're able to connect your phone to it. So I'm going to have to get my phone at some point. Just for a size comparison, actually, since I've got the 100 amp hour there, that is how small the shunt is, okay? So these are all the bits and bobs you get with it, overview. And we've got this smart little shunt. It has a little protective sticker on it. So let's get a close-up on this shunt. You can scan the QR code there to connect the app to it. House battery, starting battery, a solar input, and this one's for a starter battery. Yeah, maybe you can connect a display up to this. I don't know. And then on the back here, we've got the listing. It says 500 amps, accuracy 50 millivolts. And then you've got these bolts. Now, I'm pretty sure these are M8, which is better because in the past they've been M10, and a lot of people complained about that because they weren't able to connect up very easily their current system because all their cables were with M8 lugs, these mounting points here and here, so you can fix it to the wall. The battery line comes in here, I believe, and then you connect the load, which is the inverter, over here. So I had to use the Google Lens app instead, and then it pops up. Okay. Now we're taken to the app, go for the Android one, obviously, using an Android phone. But it's going to look like that. So we'll have all the data. Okay, well, we'll look at that in a minute. So we're going to go inside and research about how to get this properly connected. So before we go ahead and install the shunt, I thought it would be useful to show you a wire diagram of how we're going to install it. Now, there's two different manuals that you can use. The manual that comes with the Smart Shunt has a slightly different wire diagram, than the classic one that I'm familiar with. So I'm going to show you a side by side to show you the difference. But basically you just go to litime.com and you go to the user manual section. There's all sorts of different user manuals you can choose from. We just need to go to the battery accessories section. You go for the battery monitor one here, and you can download that one there. And then if you need the smart battery one, it's further down here, the Bluetooth one. Now, we're just going to scroll down. Here we have the wire diagram. This is the one that's actually printed in the user manual. If you're a first-time user, you might be slightly confused by seeing two different shunts, but that's purely actually the same shunt. So this is just the top side. This is the front side. If you want more clarity on the wire diagram, and this one's actually really clean and simple. I like this one. So you can see you've got the MPPT charge controller, goes to a bus bar, and then that line hooks up to your load over here. And then you've also got your inverter. Now, I don't recommend putting the inverter onto the bus bar, really, unless your bus bar is really large. Better to put the inverter straight onto the shunt over here on the load. And then the negative line of the battery goes to the battery's bolt side on that side. So hopefully that's really clear. And the power line goes to the shunt as well. I kind of made a custom version to explain it. And then the temperature sensor comes up to the section here, or you plug it in. And then the power line goes to the positive side of the battery that you want to hook up. And then the negative line obviously goes to the battery side on the bolt there. And then the load side obviously gets connected to your inverter or your load, whatever you're running. And then the MPPT charge controller goes onto that side there, not the battery side. Hopefully that's clear. Now let's jump over to actually installing the shunt. So up over here, we have the MPPT charge controller. This is a large one. This is a 60 amp hour, sort of a medium. First thing you want to do is I've installed a solar switch over here. The solar line must be off. This one over here is still on, but the other one is turned off. The little symbol is not showing that we're receiving any power, which is good. Right, so the first step is I need to get this battery out. Okay, now be careful of sparks because you might get some if you're disconnecting your inverter. I'm just removing this. It served me okay, but I'm kind of fed up with having it not so accurate. I might save it for like smaller projects. And there we have it. Okay, so now that that's off, like so, we now can flip it around, and then we're going to take this and we're just going to put that on with the rest. Now what this one does, this cable, is it's going to power the actual unit, and the negative line is what completes the circuit. So I have to get that one on first, and then it goes back onto the positive. So my cable on my inverter is quite short, so I have to put it like there. But I have to put the power cable in first. I'm going to show you that. It's very hard to capture on camera, but it's pushing this thing up and down. Push it down. Then I'm going to try and slide that in until it gives way, and there we go. It's letting me go in. Then I bring it back up. I let it go. Oops. It's in there. So now I can start to find a placement for it. So you can see I've got load and battery there. And I'm just connecting my load on this side. Okay, now the spark should be extinguished, so we shouldn't get too much of it now. Should be pretty good. Yeah, and then it starts to feel, as I'm going round, it won't go further into that block. Okay. And the next step is also to connect up the sensor. I'd like to do that as well. Tiny slot on the side there. Okay. I needed to also connect my solar line, which is over here. We've got the solar line there, battery terminals over here, and then the inverter is coming down. We're in guest mode at the moment, so I don't need to make an account if I don't want to, which is kind of cool. Search for Bluetooth, I'd rather do that because my device is a bit difficult to reach now. Comes up with that one. Check details. Please complete at least one full charge or full discharge cycle to automatically resume normal operation. Ambient temperature, there's a temperature reading over there. It says 32. And we're going to just keep draining it down till it reaches 0. I think I was on about 26 or 27% before, so I just need to keep draining it down till I get to 0. I've just turned on my AC unit here. Okay. I'll just show you the screen. I've just turned it on. Because it's initializing, it's drawing about 560 watts or so. We are at the next phase. Battery is now drained down to 0. Now you can do it the other way around. You can fully charge your battery and then mark it from there, but I decided that I'm going to go from 0. So I'm now going to charge back up. I'm going to put it on this one. Okay, it's asking me for my amp hour rating. I'm going to write 230. Oops, not that much. 230 amp hour. Okay, so now we should be set up to charge the battery. I'm at 11 volts, so my battery is very low. I need to charge it. Capacity at the moment. I want to do a capacity test. It's been some time since I've had the battery, so it's definitely worth doing. So I've already given kind of a demonstration of what the app is like. Pretty self-explanatory. You don't need to make an account, which is pretty cool. Personally, I made one because I then can come back. If I ever reset the shunt, it remembers my historic data. I think that's what it mentioned. And then when we go over to the battery right now, so I'm at 190 amp hours right here. I do wish that there was a dark mode. Like, that would be something that would be really nice to add in the future. It just means that basically this background would be black and the whole theme would be black. And I would like that, to have a dark mode. And also the cell count, for example, I don't believe you can see the individual voltages of each cell inside your pack with this app. You need to use another third-party app. For demonstrational purposes, I've just turned on my AC unit. Okay. So I'll just bring it in closer here and you can have a look. Let's cook some breakfast. Capacity went up, which is very odd. Not sure why. Let's see what we got. Wow, I think I made quite a bit there, actually. We used like 2 amp hours, not even. We lost 2%, which is hilarious. Just doing some pasta. Lipat. Let's get it on. Put this on. And I'm just going to put it on highest setting. Yeah, we are getting just around 1900 to this one. So we're getting 400 here. Okay. If I go back to this one, so yeah, you can do the math. So you can see there we're getting 36 amps and 510 watts, which would make sense because then further down the line, you get a slight voltage drop. Bon appetit. It's interesting. So it's starting to cap down because we're almost at full charge. Now we're at 230. So I suppose it is actually still retaining 230 amp hours, which is pretty phenomenal, really. So it's been a couple of days and I wanted to share my overall conclusion and thoughts about what I think about this Bluetooth Smart Shunt. I think that personally, if you're looking for something where you want to be able to use your phone to the shunt and then actually read like all the information that you need, then that is definitely a no-brainer. If you're looking for the actual screen to be attached to the device and you don't want the Bluetooth feature, then you can just use the standard shunt, which LiTime do offer. I'll leave a link down below. It'll be an affiliate link, which will lead you to their website. You can also use my coupon code, which is usually the One Good Road, and that'll save you some money if you're thinking about getting one of these shunts as well. Compared to a Hall sensor, I mean, there's no comparison. The Hall sensor is quite useful if you're on a budget, but if you want something that's more accurate, then you should be using a shunt. Often at times, the Hall sensor is a magnet, and sometimes it might get pickup interference. It might miss, an amp hour here or there. I always found that it was missing. It was off by on my system, it was off by 5 amp hours. One of the things I really like about this shunt is the fact that it's got M8 bolts on it. Now, the previous model, like I mentioned, it didn't have M8 bolts, it had M10. I can tell you, it makes the installation so much easier if you use M8. Having this shunt and being able to track how much power I'm using and not needing to be inside the building to do that, I can actually just use my phone and just hook up to it, which is really handy. Because actually in winter, I even use my 230 amp hour battery to heat up a DIY heated shower that I made myself. I should make a video on that at some point. And then in summer, I'm using it with the AC unit. Definitely stay subscribed for future videos. Check out the links below. Feel free to have a look at those reviews that I've done, because I've done loads of reviews. I've literally done a review on this battery here, the LiTime Mini. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.